Morning, Martin. How are you?
Not too bad, Peter, yourself.
Good. I am very good. Thank you. Very good. Welcome to the Business Spotlight. Thanks very much for taking the time this morning to chat with me. Could we first start by, could you tell me a little about yourself and your business, please?
Yes, of course. We're Blackwater Asset Management. We manage properties right across the country, north and south of Ireland. We're quite a large business. Probably north of over 1,000 properties under management currently, and it ranges from anything from a single garage, right up to a multi-story office block. We're in business now, probably about 15 years. I think the guys. So I have business partners. They're based in the south of Ireland. Them guys have been running the business for 15 years. I work closely in my last role with the guys and in putting on my big boy pants and deciding to go and work for myself. We had a discussion and decided that the I would take the business in DNI and work for myself. It sounds like yes, okay. We talk and we plan things as a business, which I think probably I've been, if I'm being realistic, Peter, I've probably been lucky in that sense because a lot of business owners go out by themselves and really don't know who to talk to or where to go. Where I've got people who have done it quite a long, and I'm going, well, how do I do this? And which is fantastic. We're in NI now, coming on to 2 years. We have various from resi to commercial properties under management. We work closely with property managers, so all things property we are interested in.
Yeah.
We work with banks, we work with the larger property companies. We do, our services range, right? Anything in property we can organize or we can do for you pretty much. But yeah, 2 years, still early doors, still a spring chicken here in NI as people would say. But we're on the right trajectory. We've got our idea, our plans is we're moving in the right direction.
What would you say have been your biggest learnings over the last couple of years?
Um, there's been a lot of learnings. You have to learn that I was always in an office or in an office atmosphere, where everybody's around you, and it was a bit of an organized chaos. It was like being back in school, and I had to learn just right, do what you say and say what you do. You have to, it's building that bit of it's there's a lot of learnings. It's hard to try and put them down in the one, but I think the biggest one is it's not as scary as everyone makes it out to be. All right, yes, you're relying on yourself to pay your own salary, your own wage, or whatever way that you're working it, but it's worth it massively. Like the rewards are fantastic. I was able to spend a lot of time with my family over the summer, and we were very busy over the summer. Which is crazy because before it would have been in the office at 8 o'clock, home probably at 6 or 7, building somebody else's dream. But yeah, I think that my biggest learning curve has been that it's not as scary as it's made out to be. That like everyone, like, there is a safety net there. And you can always, if you're not comfortable, you can always walk away, or you can always go back into employment. But I just think that the rewards far outweigh anything else.
And you mentioned earlier on about being in an office environment and feeling like it was at school almost at times.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, have you ever had like a teacher or a mentor or someone along your journey that has had an impact on you?
I'm quite fortunate, Peter, in the fact that I do a lot of cold water swimming with a group of NI business people, and seeing you do have your bad days or something's going wrong, it's it's a case of putting it into the WhatsApp. Guys, I'm stuck on this, and I wouldn't say I have one specific individual, but I mean like some of the guys in that group, the swim raisers, are some of the best guys that they've really put just push you forward. And we all became friends for our love of craziness of getting into the cold water in December time. Thinking that we'll get in for 10 minutes and we'll be fine, but we'll come out with near pneumonia half the time, you know. But it's no, very fortunate that they do have. I do have people that I can call. I do believe business coaches are you know, are fantastic, because I just think that I'm fortunate enough. I maybe haven't had one specific person, but I do believe that it's, you know, you sort of need, so sometimes you need that bit of a guideline, because you will go off the beaten track sometimes, and you just need somebody to say, "Well, listen, you're on the wrong track. Come on, we're walking this way." And so, yeah, I'm fortunate enough that them guys again are all matured in their business. They're successful, and should I have any questions or queries, or even if you're having one of them days where you don't seem to think anything's going right, it's here, and they're going, come on, let's sit down, let's do something, let's have a talk. And then you soon realize after 10 or 5 or 10 minutes, like, maybe I just blew out of proportion. Maybe I was just, just looking for the problems rather than looking for the solutions.
And do you have any favorite quotes or sayings that particularly resonate with you?
Kieran May, at one of his events recently, said, "Let go of your ego." And I was a big ego person. Like, I had the nice cars, I had the fancy watches, I was like I have to have all this so people think and it's only sort of been probably the last month or two where I've sort of said to myself, I don't need that. Like, I'm trying to impress myself for something that, when I was speaking to, it was actually a family event a couple of weeks back, and it was like, "Oh, you're doing this, oh, you're doing it," and I was going, maybe I've got this wrong. Maybe I'm thinking, I need to have this. I need to show people this, and maybe I'm looking at where I aspire to be in 6 to 7 years. Where the fancy cars aren't even fancy at that stage. You're just sort of like, it is what it is. But and maybe I got caught up in the the millennium sort of element of, you have to have a fancy. You don't. It gets you the A to B. It serves a purpose. So yeah, I think letting go of my ego was probably a big thing for me, because I always sort of believe that people need to think that I am doing this, and I need to prove that I can. And I think just taking a step back and maybe not putting your feet on the brakes, but sort of sitting back and taking everything in to really understand how far I've came and where I've yet to go.
And who's the first person, Martyn, that comes to mind when you think about success?
Warren Buffett would be one of my big guys. One of the guys who I would just adore. To be honest with you, I just think that he lives in the same house. He doesn't have anything, and he didn't get rich quick. And he tells you it's not a get rich quick scheme. A lot of people are out selling, I think, which are selling these get rich quick with Forex. Nobody gets rich quick with Forex unless you've got millions to put into it. But he's just, this is what to do. This is a proven. He's got one proven track record, and he just follows it. He just implements that day in, and those little incremental changes have made him what he is today.
And what would you say to anyone that's maybe thinking of going into business? What sort of advice would you have for them?
Absolutely, do it. I think about it first. It takes a lot. Don't just be going, "Oh, listen to Marty on a podcast." So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start seek a business coach. Ask somebody to come in and give you a hand. Like, I'm not here because I know everything. On the day I do know everything, I think it's probably the day that I need to stop. But yeah, plan and then execute, and just really speak to people. If you need to go and get a business coach, go and get a business coach. As I said, I'm fortunate enough that I've surrounded myself with guys who are in business. And again, I think I said it earlier, the guys in Blackwater, I'm probably a bit fortunate that the guys that actually the founders of Blackwater, I could always ring them and say, I maybe cheated a bit whenever I started Blackwater NI, because I always had them guys. Anything that I wasn't sure of, I could always ring. So maybe I've been a bit fortunate. Maybe I've got to just jump the starting line before everybody else. But yeah, I mean, if you really believe that it's something that you want to do, absolutely go for it.
And if you could go back in time 2 years and start again, is there anything that you would do differently?
Do you know what, Peter? I always ask myself this: what would I change? Do you know, and it's almost to get ahead. Do you know, to try and get a head start. But I don't think I would. I think maybe I was a bit. I think at the start I was probably a bit immature in starting, because it was like, oh, I've got all this. You know, this is fine, and maybe didn't push as much. And I was the guy running around, probably should own shares in a coffee company somewhere, because I bought that many coffees. But and I was just like, oh, I'm doing this and doing that, rather than sitting down and going, right, this is what we do. This is how we do it. You know, maybe being a bit more clear on what our business is and what it does. I think I had cups of coffee for the sake of having cups of coffee, because my dairy wasn't full. You know, you don't have to fill your dairy every week. And that was probably, that's what I would change. Don't need to fill your dairy every week, because a busy dairy means that the admin and stuff in the background doesn't get done. You know, it doesn't, unless you want to work till 10 o'clock at night, but sometimes you do. Most of the time, if you're fortunate enough, you're probably not, you know.
And instead of looking back, let's look forward. So it's 5 years time, 2028. So what does Blackwater Asset Management look like then?
I just want I want to add more services. You know, I want to be able to add an extra strings to our bow. You know, I want to be able to, somebody to ring me, and rather than me go, I can't do it, but I'll sort it for you, I'd rather go, yes, absolutely, so do it. I would like to have a well-oiled machine. I know that's not always, but I would just like to just systemize a lot of stuff. You know, make stuff a lot easier, rather than me taking the calls. You know, I want to bring more guys in. I want people that can go out and just ring me whenever it's a fire that needs to be put out. But if it's not a fire that needs to be put out, then listen, think on your feet. I'm not going to criticize you for doing what you think is right. So yeah, more staff. Obviously higher turnover. Everybody wants a higher turnover. And yeah, I want to systemize. I want to offer more services. I want to be the number one go to in Belfast and Ireland, for as a whole. As I said, guys in the south are flying. Here we're probably just, we're at our crawling stage. We're probably at our walking stage now. But we'll get there. It's not a million miles away. It's achievable. You know, as long as we put the work in, we'll get to where we want to get to.
Good stuff. And if somebody likes what they've heard, Martyn, and would like to reach out and get in touch, what would be the best way of them to go about that?
Well, they can reach out to myself. It's Martyn with a Y, Martyn .McDonnell, McDonnell at Blackwater, A for Alpha, M for Mike.co.uk. Just pop me across an email. We can sit down and we can discuss what the requirements are, and I'll be more than happy to go through that with them and see. Listen, sometimes maybe there will be stuff that I'll be like, that's probably outside of our boundary, but these guys can do it. I would never. I don't like saying no. I'm a big fan of saying yes and figuring it out after. But if it's something that's maybe just that bit outside of my my remit, I'll know somebody, or I'll find somebody who can do that for you.
Excellent. Well, Martyn McDonnell of Blackwater Asset Management, Northern Ireland, thanks very much for your time. It's been really cool listening to your story and your journey, and I wish you all the success for the future. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it.